Disclaimer: this video is intended for educational and critical commentary purposes. It contains references to a meme associated with anti-Semitic ideology, which is being shown solely to debunk, critique, and expose the misinformation and harmful rhetoric it promotes. In this meme, we see a disturbing portrayal of a Jew raging and screaming at a computer screen, shouting, "Stop asking for evidence and just believe us." It has a demonic or devilish feel, paired with the Star of David on the arm, so you know who the demon is. Obviously, this is complete nonsense. No Jews actually say or act like that. But it's worth addressing the message the meme is trying to send. The claim behind it may be referring to the Holocaust, the October 7th massacre, or something along those lines. Regarding the Holocaust, there is an overwhelming amount of evidence that has convinced virtually all of the world's historians that it is a historical fact. As Associate Professor of International and Political Studies, Małgorzata Zaczara-Szymańska put it, "The Holocaust is the most documented genocide in human history, and the most studied and best described. The documentation is vast." The United States Holocaust Memorial Museum states, "In the aftermath of these crimes, calculating the number of victims became important for legal, historical, ethical, and educational reasons. The statistics below were calculated using a number of different sources. These sources include surviving Nazi German reports and records, pre-war and post-war demographic studies, records created by Jews during and after the war, documentation created by resistance groups and underground activists, as well as other available, extant archival sources. These death statistics lay bare the enormity of the Holocaust and other Nazi crimes. The idea that Jews are simply asking people to believe this without offering evidence is preposterous. And as for October 7th, it's in some ways even easier to verify, since there is an abundance of video evidence showing the terrorists slaughtering civilians. The attackers literally filmed themselves and were proud of what they were doing. Much of it was also captured on CCTV, on bystanders' phones, and through confessions from captured terrorists, along with survivor testimony. You can find much of this documented on hamasmassacre.net. No one is asking anyone to believe these events happened without evidence. Now, you might disagree with the interpretation of that evidence. You might have your own perspective. But don't lie and say that no evidence is being provided. I have never heard a Jew say that people should unquestioningly accept what Jews say without evidence. Now I want to briefly explain that evidence holds a very high value in Judaism, and really, it should be a core value for everyone. Being gullible, naive, or blindly believing things without examination is not a virtue. In fact, it's often dangerous. There's nothing noble in being easily misled. As it says in Proverbs, "The simple man believes every word, but the prudent man watches his steps." Proverbs 14:15. Judaism has always recognized the importance of critical thinking, testimony, and verification. The Torah itself commands that legal and factual matters be established by evidence, not assumption. As Deuteronomy 17:6 teaches, 2 or 3 witnesses are required to confirm a matter, and this becomes the gold standard for establishing truth in Jewish law. On the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses, a man shall be put to death, but he shall not be executed on the testimony of a lone witness. The reason multiple witnesses are required is because it is far less likely that 2 or 3 individuals would collude to fabricate a story than a single person acting alone. With each additional witness, the probability of conspiracy decreases, and the credibility and weight of the testimony increases, strengthening the overall confidence in the evidence presented. This emphasis on evidence isn't just legal, it runs deep into Jewish philosophy and theology as well. The author of Sefer HaHinuk, in his introduction, articulates this value powerfully. It's worth listening to this whole section. Watch on 1.5 speed if you are in a rush. The clear truth in the human species is that which most people in the world have agreed about, and the opinion of all people has already agreed with it, to believe the testimony of people. And with the proliferation of those testifying about a thing about which they are testifying, the thing is more established in the eyes of its hearers. And in those testifying being few, a bit of doubt develops in the thing for those that are sharp. And this matter has become so strong among people to the point that they fixed it in the practices of each and every nation to kill a man according to the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. And since 3 is more honored than 2, the perfect Torah also mentioned it. And from this reason also did the opinion of all agree to accept the testimony from the mouths of their fathers, their elders, about that which they tell them that happened in their days, or in the days of their fathers, or in the days of the fathers of their fathers. And there is no doubt that in the fathers testifying being many, and in the ones that the event happened in their days being many, the thing is strengthened in the hearts of the children that hear it. Therefore, when God wanted to give the Torah to his people, Israel, he gave it to them in the eyes of 600,000 adult men, besides the many children and women, that they all be believable witnesses about the things. Also, in order that the testimony be stronger and more believable, they all merited prophecy at that time. As doubt never develops about that which one knows by way of prophecy. And that is the meaning of that which God said to Moshe, in order that the people hear my speaking to you, and they also believe in you forever. Exodus 19:9, meaning to say, they and their children will believe in you and your prophecy forever. As they will then know, with a trustworthy knowledge, that God speaks with a man, and he can live, and that all of your prophecy is true. And had it not been that they merited prophecy, a claimant could have argued about all of the signs that Moshe did in the eyes of Pharaoh and in their eyes and said, who knows if he did it with machinations of the wisdom of demons or with the power of the names of the angels? And even though the wise men of Egypt and all of its magicians, who were more expert in the wisdom of demons and magic than all the rest of the world, conceded to Moshe against their will and said to Pharaoh that it was through the power of God that he did it, as it is written, Exodus 8:15, it is the finger of God. Nonetheless, one who wants to be stubborn will say it was from his greater wisdom that he did it, and they conceded to him. But after the prophecy, no type of hesitation remained about the matter. You don't need to agree with this account on a theological level to see the broader point. In Judaism, truth is not based on blind faith. Even in moments of divine revelation, the Torah itself describes how evidence, and the public witnessing of events, plays a central role in verifying truth and transmitting it to future generations. Even God, according to this view, didn't just demand belief. He provided evidence. Prophecy, witness testimony, and shared national experience were all meant to eliminate doubt and establish lasting truth. Deuteronomy 4:35 declares, you were shown these things so that you might know that the Lord is God. Besides him, there is no other. This verse emphasizes that faith in God was not meant to be blind or baseless. The people of Israel were shown signs and wonders. They were given evidence so that they could know the truth about God. The text underscores that belief was meant to be grounded in knowledge and experience, not mere hearsay. You were shown these things for a reason, so that you might know. But if you were not shown, you would not know. This principle appears repeatedly throughout the Hebrew Bible. For example, in Exodus 7:5, God says, and the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord, when I stretch out my hand against Egypt and bring the Israelites out from among them. Here, there is a clear cause and effect relationship. God acts, performs a sign or miracle, and as a result, people gain knowledge. They know that he is the Lord. Whether one believes these accounts to be historical or not, the reasoning is clear. The Bible does not portray God as demanding belief without reason. Instead, he provides demonstrations, signs, and evidence so that belief is justified. This principle is highly relevant even today. It teaches that claims should not rest on blind acceptance, but on rational grounds and observable truth where possible. We should learn from these passages the value of presenting evidence and justification for what we believe, rather than expecting people to accept claims without understanding or proof. So when people claim that Jews just want others to believe without evidence, it's not only wrong, it contradicts one of the most foundational principles of Jewish thought, that truth must be established, not assumed. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and become a member of the channel.